to the Democratic Party. You know what I'm getting really pissed off about? I'm getting really ticked off at every time they open their mouth about something pertaining to y'all, they seem right. My big issue is that I'm really, really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else that the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented along the way.
Stephen A. Smith goes full MAGA again. Now, Stephen A. Smith is going through the Great Awakening, which is what I like to call it, where former Democrats suddenly realize that their party is full of liars, losers, and hypocrites. Now, last week I put out a video of Stephen A. Smith ripping into the Democrat Party, calling out Joe Biden for pardoning his son Hunter, calling him full of shit. He called out Kamala Harris. He called out the Democrat Party in general for its messaging and ideology. And now here he is again, ripping into them over the bombshell news report that 26 FBI informants were present at the January 6th riot.
The Democrats lost the White House, Senate, and House in the November election. Meanwhile, this week, FBI Director Christopher Wray announced plans to resign at the end of the Biden administration as President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January. The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department that revealed the FBI had at least 26 confidential informants on the ground when the Capitol was stormed on January 6, 2021. The report says most of the informants engaged in illegal activity during the chaos. The Justice Department says only 3 of its 26 informants present had been instructed to observe potential domestic terrorist suspects on the day of the riot. The rest of the 23 appeared to have gone to the Capitol on their own accord. Upon hearing news of the report, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted the following on X, quote, "For those keeping score at home, this was labeled a dangerous conspiracy theory months ago," end quote. So 23 folks for the FBI were in the crowd. And we're just finding that out.
And J.D. Vance is absolutely true. This just adds to the never-ending list of topics that the Democrat mainstream media labels disinformation or a conspiracy theory, only for it later to be actually proved to be factually correct. That is why the Democrats have such a problem with Elon Musk taking over Twitter, because they no longer can dictate what is able to be shared, what they can censor, what they can allow people to do investigations into. They want to be the sole ones who are allowed to control the narrative of what is or is not true. But let's roll the clip, because Stephen A. starts to get fiery about the Democrats being exposed again for being liars.
Didn't hear anything about that for the election. Didn't hear anything about that when the quote-unquote insurrection was broached by Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee, by President Biden before her, by Democrats in both the House and the Senate as they articulated the belief that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy and using this as a profound, illuminating bullet point to make that case. And now here we are yet again finding even more evidence to Donald Trump's claims when he articulated that the process is rigged, the Democrats are this or that, they're talking about us, but look at what they do. We don't know all the details. It's a report. Justice Department comes out with this. That's not my big issue. My big issue is that I'm really, really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else that the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented along the way. Where's the $1.5 billion that was given to the Democratic Party? Where is it? Where'd the money go?
The reason I'm calling this the Great Awakening that's happening with so many people is because left-leaning people just now realized, and in a shocking way, that their party is not only a bunch of liars and hypocrites, but every concern that the Republicans raised against them for how they were weaponizing the Justice Department, for how they were doing shady, slimy things like the FBI colluding with Twitter and Facebook to suppress certain things that would hurt the Democrat Party, were all true. It's not just a policy difference this go around. It's that these people were being told by their party that what they stood for was respect for the rule of law integrity, dignity, and upholding the things that make this country amazing, only to find out that their party was operating in the insidious way that they accused Donald Trump of. They feel betrayed by the Democrat Party because they've been fooled and duped into believing that they were fighting against tyranny coming from the Republican side, only to realize that they were supporting the actual tyrants.
And I think that the time has arrived where we have to stop letting stuff go all the time, particularly when it comes to the left. I mean, I see Republicans like Megyn Kelly or Officer Tatum or Candace Owens or, the Sean Hannitys of the world. You know what I'm getting tired of? To the Democratic Party. You know what I'm getting really pissed off about? I'm getting really ticked off at every time they open their mouth about something pertaining to y'all, they seem right. I would love to argue with Sean Hannity. How can I? Before I called out Biden, he was calling Biden Sleepy Joe. What's percolating on social media today? Just go and look at it, y'all. Joe Biden is caught napping at an African summit in Angola for at least a full minute. They didn't say whether he was snoring or not. That's about all that was missing. But he was clearly asleep.
Now, this is entirely speculation here, but with this new reporting that there were 26 FBI informants within the crowd, most of which weren't authorized by the FBI to be there, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Nancy Pelosi turning down National Guards from Donald Trump, combined with FBI informants in the crowd, could mean that the Democrats were trying to foment a riot and create a politically tense situation, to create a situation where they could potentially try to throw Donald Trump in jail and make it so he wasn't a political threat anymore. And again, I'm not saying that definitively. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility, seeing as we know the kind of dirty work that the FBI and CIA will do. They shot Martin Luther King. They sold cocaine and dropped weapons into the inner cities. All of this has been proven true. The FBI did work with Facebook and Twitter to suppress things that were going to hurt the Democrat Party. That's why when Trump talks about cleaning out the corruption within the government, it's not a threat to the institutions. It's not him trying to become a dictator. It's him actually trying to solve the problem that is being proven to be rampant within our government, which is corruption and political attacks and deception and lies and lack of transparency with the American public. It's not crazy to want a government that is honest and works for the citizens, not their own interests. So when we have a president that's trying to fight for that on behalf of the American people, you can see why the establishment sees that as such a threat to their power, their control, their ability to be corrupt and line their own pockets and enrich their friends and families. Now he concludes by calling out the Democrats and saying that you guys are just making Trump look more right every single day. Watch.
We can argue policies. We can argue politics all day long. But the Democrats worked really, really diligently to make the case that the right had a monopoly on insidious, evil tendencies, corrupt tendencies, duplicitous, hypocritical, untruthful tendencies. And every time they made those accusations, we turn around and find out that at least some of them are guilty of the same shit. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of all of it. I'm sick of all of it. They've actually made Donald Trump look like he was right. He didn't just get to raise his fist on election night as a victor. He's been raising it every night ever since for one different issue after another that he keeps winning because he keeps highlighting what they lied about. I'm sick of it. I have nothing to say. Enjoy y'all weekend.
That's why, to the Democrats, controlling the mediums in which people are able to communicate is so important to them, because they're able to suppress any contradicting argument to what they say the narrative is. And they have to do that because none of their positions or policies or ideologies are rooted in facts or logic or reason. They don't want you to be able to argue with them or ask them questions because they have no rational explanation to their positions. They'll say, a man can be a woman, believe it, and you're not allowed to ask why, and you're not allowed to even question it because there is no rational argument for it. You're just supposed to believe it because they told you to believe it. And the Democrat media have convinced their viewers that anything that comes out of a conservative's mouth is a conspiracy theory or misinformation. And it's not until there's an overwhelming amount of evidence to the contrary that then they're forced to, we lied. And that's why so many Democrats are being turned off from the party and the media in general. That's why you're seeing the huge drop in viewership, is because they're just tired of being lied to. They cannot trust their own media sources to provide them with accurate information. They're tired of being embarrassed and being fooled that everything that they're being told is just a lie. There's not going to be a lot of support rallying behind a candidate in 2028 for the Democrats because people just feel like they've been exposed as liars and they can't trust anything that they say. Are they going to be ultra progressive in their ideologies and policies? Are they going to say that they're going to be moderate just to try to get votes and then implement progressive woke ideologies once again? They don't know. They can't take their word for it. So I think a lot of people from the Democrat side are just going to sit out the next 4 years, and they're just going to wait until an entire cleanse of the party has been done to where they finally feel like there's some transparency and authenticity from the Democrat Party again about what they believe. I mean, that's why so many people supported Bernie Sanders. I personally think his ideas were terrible. He was a socialist, but you knew exactly who he was and exactly what he was going to try to do if elected. Kamala Harris was the most progressive senator in the United States Congress, and then when she runs, she's all of a sudden this staunch moderate, and no one could get a read on what her actual beliefs and policies were going to be because every time she was asked a straightforward question, you got, well, I was raised in a middle-class family. And the American people recognized it. The Democrat politicians actually thought that the American people were stupid enough to believe that and accept that as some sort of real answer or explanation, and they massively underestimated the American people's tolerance for being lied to their face. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Is my theory that January 6th could have been an inside job by the Democrats to try to jail Trump somewhat reasonable? If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.